we're going to make coq au vin. Coq au vin. So Mandy and I were on holiday in Antwerp in Belgium, and we were wandering through the small streets looking for a place to have dinner. And then we saw this really small boutique style restaurant. When we peeked through the window, we saw just a small kitchen with one woman cooking, and they had a very simplistic French menu. And on that menu there was coq au vin. Unfortunately, we didn't have dinner there, so Mandy was a little bit disappointed. And now, for her birthday, we've made coq au vin. So I always like to use a big piece of bacon and not the pre-cut bacon. Every time you bake the pre-cut bacon, it's like there's more water coming out. So I don't know if it's really true that they put water in it, but this is the way to go. So there's a little bit of skin, which I always take off, and I keep this skin because I will put it in the stew and it will release some more extra flavor, and then later we can... Okay, so now we have the bacon, and we first going to cut it in strips like this. So when you have the strips like this, you cut them in half again, and then you twist it, and then you cut it again in nice little cubes. So we're going to cook this whole coq au vin in one pan. Put it on medium high. Okay, so we first pour in a little bit of olive oil to help the bacon. It's already fatty from itself, but a little bit of oil will help the bacon cook more crispy. Okay, so I like to put in the bacon when the pan is not too hot, and then the bacon can warm up with the pan, so it will release its fat slowly. And while the bacon is cooking, we can prepare our mushrooms. I just have regular mushrooms, and I just will cut off the bottom, and because it's going to stew for a long time, the mushrooms will shrink a lot. So don't cut them too small, just cut them in half. When the mushrooms are cut, then we can prepare our chicken. So I like to use whole chicken legs, so it's a thigh and a drumstick. And I don't use chicken breast because it will become very dry. So when you have a thigh like this, we have to separate the thigh from the drumstick. Lay your piece of chicken like this, cut it from here, and then you have a drumstick and a thigh. So our bacon is nice and rendered out. As you can see, there's a small, nice maravilhoso. So I think it's nice to put a little bit of salt. This salt will help to firm up the skin and cook the skin very nicely. So now it's time to pre-cook the chicken. We're just only going to brown the chicken, so it will release a lot more flavor. It's important to give the chicken a little bit of time, not time, but time, to get some color. You will have to do this because then at the end the flavor will be much more intense. Okay, so this piece already has some nice color on it. This one I will turn. Okay, when the chicken is nice and brown, take it out of the pan. So when you are health conscious, at this step you can take off some of the cooking oil and then replace it with some new oil. This is just mostly bacon fat, but it's also crispy bits, and we will leave those crispy bits, so that's very important. Okay, so what we are going to do now is to make it very Frenchy. Add some butter. Don't be scared, because the French really love butter. Something like this, maybe. And so once the butter has melted and the big bubbles are disappearing, it's time to put in the mushrooms. So first the mushrooms will soak in all the fat. Once the water in the mushrooms has cooked out, then the mushrooms will bake really nicely. So that's what we are going for. I think it makes the mushrooms much more tasteful. This is what we are going for, really past golden brown. It's like almost dark brown, and these mushrooms will have a lot of flavor. Some people will take out the mushrooms at this stage, but not for me. I'm just going to put all the aromatics in, and then we will start layering the chicken in and make a stew. So first the shallots, then the garlic. So once the garlic has become soft, it's time to add the carrots. And also let them cook for a little bit until they are nicely coated with butter and oil. Okay, so now there's all sticky parts in the pan. It's called the fond. It's every bit from the vegetables, from the chicken, from the bacon. And this is where really a lot of flavor is hidden. To unleash the flavor, we can deglaze with some balsamic vinegar and make sure to scrape all the bits from the bottom. So most of the sticky bits we have deglazed now, and then we can deglaze some more with red wine. First, we always have to use red wine, which you actually want to drink. Then it's better. I think I get a little bit drunk now. We will put back in the chicken. And also all the juices from the chicken we put in. And then the last liquid is some chicken stock or regular water. And we have to fill it just until the chicken is just under the liquid. And then last aromatics, some bay leaves. Ooh, nice. And some fresh thyme. We still have our piece of bacon skin, which is full of smoky goodness. And we will also let this sit in as an aromatic. And I like to use some silver onions, small pickled onions. The vinegar will help to cook the chicken. And they will be really nice, like small sour bites of goodness. Now we let everything come to a boil. So now we know all the alcohol has evaporated. Then it's time to put on the lid and turn the heat down low so it can simmer really soft and gently. So all the flavors will mix together and the chicken will become very nice, succulent, tender. Time has been lived, time has passed, and now... Okay, so the chicken is very soft and tender. So now I'm going to ladle the chicken very carefully into the pan or into a dish which I want to use to serve the coq au vin. It's very, very tender, so be careful. The sad part about this dish is that the skin is not crispy. It will be soft, and unfortunately we're going to discard this. Now what we have left is a very nice sauce, but it's still a little bit runny. And we are going to thicken the sauce with butter, flour and some olive oil. And now we have a thick paste and we can add this to the sauce. And this will thicken the sauce and make it even more rich and nice. So when the sauce is thickened, it's time to finish it. So we have a nice pan for plating. And then I'm going to spoon over the sauce. So there you have it, a one-pan coq au vin.